G'day everybody and welcome back to Star Cub Review. I'm your host as always, Star Cub. Hey, how's everyone doing? So, today's video is I'm gonna get on the bandwagon because everyone seems to be talking about it. There's articles about it, you know, walkouts apparently, screenings are absolutely horrible. One vile scene made people so sick, and they walked out because it's so graphic. And if everyone is wondering what I'm talking about, that is Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which is due out this year in 2026. So awful, in fact, that the articles are saying, and high-profile YouTubers obviously reporting on Lee Cronin's The Mummy as well, are saying it's, it doesn't look good for Lee Cronin's The Mummy, this is going to be awful, this is a disaster and whatnot, and the articles say this and that, and it really proves that this movie's going to be shit. Do I believe any of it? No, I don't, and I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't be either. But before I get into that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone new to my channel, new subscribers to my channel. You know I all love and appreciate you. You've been absolutely fantastic. It is just so happy to see the new subscribers interacting as well. Let's get those numbers up, people, because that would be absolutely fantastic. And for that small crowd still watching my videos, you know I all love and appreciate you. So without further ado, I'm going to roll the credits. The opening credits, should I say, and then we're gonna talk about it. All right, I am back. So, Lee Cronin's The Mummy had test screenings this week, and apparently, as articles are saying, there were walkouts, there's a vile scene in it, the test screenings are so horrible, this is going to be an absolute disaster for Lee Cronin, and he's wanting to distance himself from the IP now, so it's now being retitled To the Resurrected apparently, and it looks like it may get pushed back, and then there's other, then there's all these high profile YouTubers jumping on the bandwagon saying how horrible it is. Do I believe, and not to mention James Wan, who's a producer on Lee Cronin's The Mummy, apparently walked out halfway through the film because he absolutely hated it. Do I believe any of it? No, I don't, and I'm not worried. It's Lee Cronin. He made, he did Evil Dead Rise, people. Evil Dead Rise. It was absolutely fantastic. It was gory. It was a bloodfest. It was terrifying. It was horrific. It was funny. It was the campiness. It was mean and nasty. Very much like Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead reimagining, which is absolutely amazing, by the way. And so is Lee Cronin's Evil Dead Rise. But it's Lee Cronin, for God's sake. Has everyone forgotten that Lee Cronin, is all about the shock value and the horror and, shocking people? Like, the Evil Dead Rise some of it was in-your-face horror. And as he said, right from the word get-go, that his version of The Mummy was not going to be your straightforward, family mummy affair or anything else for that matter. He said it was going to be it was going to be a terrifying, gory fest. It was going to be a different version of The Mummy, a reimagining of The Mummy in his vision. It was going to be something that had never been seen on screen before with The Mummy. He was going to do something different with the franchise and not copy Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. So let's get that out of our heads, everybody, that it is a remake or a redo of Brendan Fraser's. It has nothing to do with his franchise, Brendan Fraser's franchise. His Mummy version was fantastic. I'm not disputing that. Absolutely fantastic. But gotta face facts here, people. We can't keep having, you know, family-friendly horror films. I actually really like where Lee Cronin is going with this mummy, and apparently the scene that's so vile includes a scorpion going down someone's throat, cutting off their vocal cords, and then a hand going down someone's throat and pressing where the vocal cords should be to have that person speak. Wow, that is so vile and disgusting. Like, really? And have you seen half the shit from the Saw franchise? Have you seen half the shit from the Evil Dead franchise? Like, come on, people. Even Scream, you know, all those horror films, Halloween, all of that. We've seen lots of blood and gore from all of those films. We've seen intestines and all of that, you know, from other films that have come over the years. It's nothing new. So I really, really don't get why people are pissing down Lee Cronin's neck, saying that it's going to be awful and whatnot, and the test screenings. Well, these high-profile YouTubers and the articles haven't really stated why exactly people walked out. Was it because of the violence and the gore, and they just couldn't withstand the blood? Were the scenes that graphic that you were gonna pass out? Like, oh my god, you're gonna pass out in the theater, boo-hoo. Was it something that was gonna make you sick, like 1973's The Exorcist, where people were vomiting in the aisles and passing out? Is it something like that? You know, these articles aren't really explicit on why people were going out of these test screenings and why it was so horrible. They're not describing what is being watched and why it's so horrible. It's not really explaining anything about James Wan either, apparently walking out halfway through because he couldn't withstand what he saw because it's so awful. Do I believe anything like that? No, I don't. And for starters, James Wan is a producer on Lee Cronin's The Mummy. He should be working alongside Lee Cronin. He should be doing the ins and outs of this film as well, because he's a producer, for God's sake. And now all of a sudden James Wan walks out halfway through because he thinks the movie is so terrible. Well, James Wan, you're the one that's friggin' producing it. Give us some better context as to why you walked out. The article needs to explain that. And I think the other high-profile YouTubers out there that are reporting on Lee Cronin's The Mummy really need to state that as well. Like, you know, why is it so horrible? Why? I can't imagine it being really, really horrible, and especially from Lee Cronin, because Lee Cronin's movies are pretty awesome. And that's just me. I don't, you know, that's anyone else's opinion can have an opinion, whether they think it's awful, oh, this is doomed, blah, blah, blah. It's getting a name change because they don't want to associate the IP. I think it's a whole lot of hogwash. I really, really do. I feel like they're not, it's just, these articles are just blurting shit because they can. Well, I want to know the context why these people say that why it was so horrible. Is it because they can't withstand the violence, the gore? What is it that made you get up and go, oh, this is awful, I'm walking out? Why are the test screenings so horrible? The articles don't say that. Don't explicitly say that. And, you know, I'll probably get reamed for this, but, you know, people need to give directors a chance to let their movie vision just play out, see how it goes before, you know, reaming down someone's throat and writing articles and all of this, blatantly saying bullshit things when the movie's not even finished yet. Well, what were the test screenings like? I wanted to get feedback. I wanted to listen to the feedback. Like, the articles don't give any of that, and I just think, I'm not worried. It's Lee Cronin, for God's sake. Lee Cronin is an amazing director, and his Mummy version is going to be fantastic regardless, and I really like the fact that he's going for a really bold vision. He's going for something completely different that has never been done with the Mummy franchise before. And I give him all thumbs up for that. I really, really do. Because as a director, he's really putting himself out there with all the bullshit that's happening right now and the walkouts and all of that. But you know what? I don't think he's worried, because I don't think people have given him enough credit for what his vision is. And I hate to say it, but if it's all those bloody people that are just so up in arms, they don't like blood and violence and gore and all that, then why the hell are you watching horror films? Why the hell are you watching horror films? Like, really? Honestly? Have a good hard think about that one and stop complaining about shit. Just let it play out and see how the rest of the film is before you start, throwing out shit that this is going to be awful. This is going to be god awful. I have faith that Lee Cronin's The Mummy will be absolutely something completely different. I don't want to see the same old Hollywood shenanigans with The Mummy. I really don't. Brendan Fraser's version of The Mummy was fun. It was addictive, but it was also very campy, and some of it is also very, very cringeworthy now. It is very, very cringy. Some of the dialogue is really, really cringy for the time, but being that it was the 90s, 90s camp horror adventure is awesome, but some of it can be cringy, but you overlook the cringiness of it because it's so action-packed, full of horror elements, adventure elements, thriller elements, but it's all adventure. It's big bangs, it's Hollywood big productions here, it's just the scenery of it all. And Brendan Fraser was amazing in The Mummy. That Mummy franchise was great, but let's not hold Lee Cronin to that he's never going to get to Brendan Fraser levels. Like Lee Cronin has stated right from the very beginning, if people paid attention when he announced that he was doing The Mummy, is that his version of The Mummy was going to be a gore fest. It was going to be terrifying. It was going to be something that is completely different outside the box of the Mummy franchise, which Hollywood has done with The Mummy for freaking years in the golden ages of Hollywood as well, with the whole freaking Mummy. Lee Cronin wasn't aiming for a Brendan Fraser Mummy, because let's face it, a PG-13 version of The Mummy, as great as it was, it didn't quite stick with the horror elements. Horror elements for PG-13, meh, they were okay, but nothing, I really, really want to see, I want to see gore, I want to see blood, I want to see bone snapping, I want to see, dead things. I want to see things that terrify you, that you wish you, like in a dark freaking corridor, in a pyramid or a temple, you see a dead body, you see dead rats come to life, you see all that sort of stuff. The Mummy franchise has got to evolve. It's got to evolve, and I believe Lee Cronin will do that with his version of The Mummy, and I have faith he will, and I think all of you should as well. For those that want to believe everything that other YouTubers say that report on this and love movies apparently, take what they say with a grain of salt as well, because while they have opinions and that, and I'm not discounting their opinions and whatnot, but a lot of them do jump on the bandwagon quite a bit and really ram things down your throat very, very quickly, and want to completely just toss something out the window without giving it a chance. And I don't do that. I wait and I watch it and keep watching it, and then when it gets released, I'll watch it and make my own mind up whether I thought it was great, average, meh, whatever. But for people to just jump on the bandwagon now and go, this might as well just be shelved, blah, blah, blah. You haven't even got the context of why any of these articles even say the shit that is coming out with the test screenings. Give it time, people. It'll be fine. Lee Cronin's The Mummy is going to be fantastic. I cannot wait to see a hardcore R-rated Mummy feature that is completely different to 90s Mummy, 60s, 70s, 50s Mummy, the golden ages of Hollywood when they did The Mummy there. It's all different, and Lee Cronin's The Mummy is going to be fantastic, and I'm attesting to that. I cannot wait. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, and notification bell to keep up to date with all my content. And I will be bringing more videos to you very, very soon. All right, guys. Have a great evening. Ciao.